Well, hello, everyone. This is B. Wendy Jackson, your lovely host of the Empower to Empower You podcast. I'm so glad to be here with you today. Just a reminder for those who are tuning in for the first time, Empower to Empower You podcast is about all things Jesus Christ, mental health, anything to help you think better so you can live in freedom. I know that if you change your thoughts, you change your life, but also that comes with some actions and some responsibility. And so I've been having some amazing guests. For those of you who have been tuning in since January 2020. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you who have rated or reviewed the podcast. Maybe you have subscribed, maybe you have shared it. Thank you for doing that. I'm so glad as we wrap up season 4. I'm headed into season 5. I am so honored today, so excited about our guest. Today we have Dr. Aaron and Wanda Chadwick. They are functional doctors, and Dr. Aaron has both of them have actually dedicated their career to empowering individuals to take control of their health. Over 35 years of experience in integrative care, he has seen firsthand how chronic health issues hold people back. From the debilitating effects of headaches, migraines, to the frustrating cycles of digestive problems and gut health issues, Dr. Chadwick has helped tens of thousands of patients overcome a wide range of challenges. Both of them offer masterclasses, virtual coaching, exclusive programs to help individuals transform by defeating diseases at the root. Listen, I'm so excited because they are educators and they are inspired, they are motivated, they are anointed to inspire others on the truth of why people get sick. This episode applies to everybody because everybody's dealing with something in their body. Okay. You could be small and that doesn't mean you're healthy. So I really want you to tune in and definitely make sure that you get somebody involved, tune in and plugged into this podcast. So they're going to talk a little bit about the causes for underlying health. They have a lot of information to share about the role of inflammation in chronic disease as we talk about restoring health through functional medicine with Dr. Aaron and Wanda Chadwick. Welcome.
Thank you
Thank you, B.
so
Wendy.
much, B. Wendy. We're so honored that you even asked us to be here. Thank
Yes.
you so much.
Absolutely. This is such an important topic. Such an
It
important
is.
topic.
It
Yes.
is an important topic. So, first of all, let's back up a little bit. Aaron and I met in medical school. So, we're both physicians. We do the same thing. We are both functional medicine doctors, integrative medicine. That's what we practice. And when we say going to the root cause, going to the core of who we are, the way the Lord made us is in the gut. Whenever the gut is out of balance, everything else will be out of balance. So the interesting thing is that people come to our clinic and say, I feel fine. They just have high blood pressure or high triglycerides, or I'm fine. They're just diabetics. Well, if one thing has gone awry, one thing is wrong within your body, that means that everything else is also receiving. Do you see what I'm saying? It's also receiving the not the diseases, but the signs and the symptoms, because we're all connected. It's our bodies are all connected. That's the way the Lord designed us. So one of the first ways that we start helping people is by detoxifying their bodies, because our belief and our studies for 35 years has led us to the realization that all diseases come from two things. It's either nutritional deficiencies or over toxicities in the body. And even parasites. We have an amazing course where we talk about parasites because people believe that in this country, we don't have parasites. That is false. We can get parasites from the meats that we eat, from the even the vegetables that are not cleansed appropriately. Parasites are rampant everywhere. What do you think, babe?
Oh, definitely. They're everywhere, from our foods to the environment that we live in, to the air we breathe. There's just so many toxins around that deplete our immune system that allows these kind of infestations to happen. So that's definitely part of our issues. I also want to back up a little bit too and say that, for the past 35 years, we've seen, like you said, thousands of patients, tens of thousands of patients. And many people have been suffering, and I believe, and we believe, unnecessarily, meaning that these different signs and symptoms, things like headaches, digestive problems, hormone problems in women and men, allergies, poor sleep, poor energy, These are rampant signs and symptoms. And most people listening out there probably think they have to just live with it, or they can
Right.
take a medication to deal with a symptom. Our whole focus is getting behind the symptom. I use an analogy. I like this, like, for example, if you have a cat, right? And you step on a cat's tail and the cat screams from its mouth. What's bothering the cat? Is it the mouth or is it the tail? Of course, it's the tail. But when we have a headache, we take an aspirin or Tylenol or whatever it is to deal with that symptom. But as my wife was saying too, everything is connected. So internally, there are things that are going awry, that are going wrong. There are, like she said, they're either deficient in certain nutrients and they're toxic in their bodies. And that's our first approach. But we do individualize our programs by assessing them, by testing them with blood tests and very sophisticated urine tests that look at, it's called an organic acid test, but which looks at these metabolic wastes. So when we see these wastes coming out of the body through the urine, we know what's inside the body because it's inside the urine. So we can ascertain that.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
So we look at that.
Yeah. So I love how y'all are so on fire and on passion. I haven't even asked the first question. I love it. I love
What
it.
we do.
Yes. So over 35 years, it's possible to sum up your life and your career in 30-minute
Wow.
conversation, right?
Wow.
Right.
Why are you passionate about this? Just give her a high level overview of why is this such a ministry for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our ministry. Well, first of all, talking about ministries, we believe that Jesus already died on that cross. And when he said, "It is done, it is finished," that means all diseases were nailed to the cross with Jesus Christ. So the mere fact that as humans, we're still suffering with ailments on a physical body, we have to discover why.
Yeah.
What is the trauma? What is it that's behind these diseases, which is why we go to the root cause. 35 years of doing this. Wow. I think it started for me, and I think for you too, with our own health issues.
Yes.
Our own health issues. We got married later in life. It was like I did my career, we traveled the world, and then it was like, oh my goodness, Lord, I have to have babies. I want to have babies, right? And when we decided to have babies, I had 3 miscarriages, 3 years in a row. Now, the irony of it is that I help women with fertility issues.
Wow.
It's like there's always a challenge, and it's like you turn to the Lord and, Lord, what am I to learn from this situation? How do I glorify you? How do I give you all the honor regardless of what I'm going through? And it was like a revelation. The Lord just gave us a revelation. Your hormones are out of balance, but you don't go to the hormones, you go to the digestive system. Everything derived from a poor functioning digestive system that's like a network going out to the other systems in your body. So once I started the detoxification process, once I started the filling in the nutritional deficiencies that I had, then I was able to get pregnant for the 4th time. And that's how we have our first 21-year-old.
Right.
Wow.
And for me, it started when I was a teenager. From 15 years old to 20 years old, I suffered from severe cystic acne, grade 4. I took tetracycline, which is an antibiotic, every day, 3 times a day for 5 years straight. If I missed one dose, I would get a 2-inch pustule on my face. And then when I was young, we were very poor, so my mom would take me on the bus to Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, and the student doctors would work on me. It was free, right? They would take hypodermic needles and stick them in my skin and pull out the pus. Was not fun. 5 years. Then when I was 20 years old, my dad said, I think you need to look into nutrition. So I was shopping at a store. I found a book called the Nutrition Almanac. I started reading that book, and that book started explaining to me there's research studies on different nutrients, vitamin A and zinc, and how foods make a big difference with your body and your digestive system and how it can clear up your skin. I started following that program, and my skin cleared up. And then I had an epiphany. I had an aha moment. I said, Lord, the doctors can't help me. They couldn't help me. They gave me this medicine to treat the symptoms, but nutrition was what healed my body. And from I dove in after that. I dove in. I started reading research studies after research studies and understanding biochemistry, taking courses. And I'm like, wow, how come the doctors don't tell me these things?
There is another way. So that's what you
Yes.
discovered, which is the same thing I discovered.
Yes.
There is another way.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that's
this is
what we're here to offer, B.
yeah,
Wendy. This is why we
this is so life-giving, you know, because
Yes.
people spend. I think about that woman with the issue of the blood, where the Bible says she
Yes.
spent
Yes.
all her money and got
Yeah.
worse. And there are many people that spend all of their money and get worse
Yeah.
because they're not addressing the root causes. They're
The
just
root
throwing pills
cause.
upon pills upon pills, one pill for this symptom, for this side effect, for this side effect, and people are just sicker, you know. So
Yeah.
I recently had another functional doctor, and I just love the work that y'all do. I love the work that functional doctors do to
Mhm.
address, you know, that means because I believe that it requires really listening to a patient and really doing some thorough assessments to
Yes.
really understand what's going on versus the other functional doctor. Her name is Melissa Armstrong. She told me that on average, a doctor may make a diagnosis within the first 10 minutes. That's
That's right.
scary.
Mhm.
Scary.
Yeah.
You can't learn a person's life story
Mm.
or health history in 10 minutes.
You're
That's
So that
right.
requires time. Yeah,
That's a
absolutely.
good point, B. Wendy. That's why our motto is we test, not
Mhm.
guess.
Mhm.
We want to know your lifestyle. We want to
Yeah.
know how you grew up as a child. We had a patient that had gotten thyroid cancer, but then we went back to her childhood. Her father owned a pest control.
Yeah. Pest control company. Yeah.
Pest control company in New York City, and in the basement in New York, that's where he kept all the chemicals, and that's where the kids would play.
Mm-hmm.
Ergo, as an adult, she ended up with
Yes.
thyroid cancer. So we want to know your history.
Yes.
How did you grow up? What is it that you're doing on a daily basis? Now let's look at your blood work, because your blood work is a tell-all of what's happening within you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah,
right
that's
blood work, though.
The right blood work. That's right.
yeah.
So when you use your insurance, this is something I do want to say for the audience. When you use your insurance, and we all have insurance because we don't want to fall, like we play pickleball and break a leg, or and
God
not have
forbid.
God forbid, in the name of Jesus, and not have insurance to repair that.
Yeah.
But the insurance company will not pay for the blood work that we require to make sure that you will prevent. We want
Wow.
to prevent you from falling into a heart disease, heart attack, cancer, stroke. Do you see? That's what we do as functional medicine doctors is preventative, and once it's there, getting to the root and start
Let's
to
talk a little bit about how the test work and the blood work analysis that you do help
Sure.
to address the root causes of diseases.
Yeah. So the Bible says life is in the blood, right?
Mhm.
So we
Yeah.
know that. And it's the ability to ascertain, to understand what's in the blood. You have to do the right blood tests. Most doctors do basic blood tests. They'll look to see if you may be anemic, but even that is really not very comprehensive when they do that. So we look at a variety of different tests that's going to ascertain, like you said in the beginning too, do they have inflammation in their body? There are blood tests that will let you know that, and to the degree that you're suffering from it, right? So there are a variety of tests that we do run those things. When we're looking at, for example, a woman who has anemia, it's not just the hemoglobin. You got to look at the iron and the iron panel to know if they're iron deficient, B12, B6, folate. So the blood will give you the keys to assessing your nutritional deficiencies and those toxicities. We look at very sophisticated immune tests with the immunoglobulins, and we look at things for autoimmune diseases. It's called the ANA, the anti-nuclear antibodies. So we look at these tests to figure out what the root cause of their problem is, So when we can see that, we can say, okay, this is what the person is going through. Now, mind you, that we can have, let's say, 10 people who have high blood pressure, right? And they all have different underlying origins of nutritional deficiencies and toxins that are kind of unique, if you would, to their body. So we treat them differently. That's the problem with modern medicine. We take a pill for this symptom, but we treat and fix the underlying cause for those particular, in this example, the high blood pressure. We give them the things their body's missing to correct the underlying problem so their body can heal naturally, because God gave us the ability to heal.
That's a good point, babe, because all of our programs, Wendy, are personalized and
Yes.
customized
Yes.
according to your comprehensive blood work.
Mhm.
Our comprehensive blood work that we've been trained to look at as a functional medicine doctor, integrative medicine, we're certified nutritionists. I even studied with a well-known Bernard Jensen, which was an iridologist.
Mhm.
Iridology is a science that came from Hungary.
Mhm.
God gave us a pupil and he gave us a sclera, which is the white part of the eye.
Mhm.
And they both tell us the condition of our health.
Mhm.
They both lead us to the organ system that is breaking down. And then we can start reversing and defeating that. We don't get that with modern medicine. Now, we're not against modern medicine. That's not what we're
Yes, I
saying.
understand
We
that,
just
yeah.
want to make sure
Yeah.
we need medical
Yes,
doctors
definitely,
like
definitely.
we need functional medicine doctors.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's
I
good.
look forward to the day where we all are in agreement and
Yes.
work together.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Talk a little bit about how faith, y'all are Christians,
Yes.
it is very clear. How does faith play a role in the work that you do with your patients or your clients?
Well, for me, before I see any patient, I'm praying for them. I'm out of my office, but outside the room, and I'm praying for them. Say, Lord, that you give me clarity, you guide me, you help me determine what's really going on here, and help to get them better. So, and in doing that, I just feel like I have this clarity about understanding what they're going through. And the truth is, I've had many people in my office start crying. I've had men start crying
Wow.
because they've been going through so many different symptoms that they've been going to different doctors, and nobody seems to understand what's going on in their body. So as I'm going through the testing with them, I'm explaining this is why this is going on. They say, wow, somebody finally understands me and what's going on.
Yeah. For me, I give God the glory, Jesus Christ, all the glory for absolutely everything that I do. And it's kind of like Solomon, King Solomon, the richest man to have ever lived to this date. When the Lord came to him and said, what do you want? He said, give me wisdom.
Yeah.
And that's what I asked for. I said, Lord, give me wisdom to deal with your creations, right? A lot of them are children of the Most High God, but we are all creations of the Lord. Give me the wisdom to guide them and to speak about you and to show them why this ailment is on their body and that Jesus is the true healer. We just work for Jesus.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. High level overview. What are some things? Because it sounds like you have a lot of master classes. You've been doing this a long time. What are some things that you emphasize in your master classes and your books? I don't know if you're authors as well.
Yes, our book is being released by the end of this year. We're so excited.
Yay. So tell us what you emphasize in your master classes and your books.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
Okay, so we have several master classes. One is called the Ancient Detox. We really concentrate on using ancient herbal formulations on detoxifying the kidney. Well, first let's start with the colons. The colon, the liver, and the kidneys. It's a misnomer. It's a mistake to only detoxify the colon because in alternative medicine, Chinese medicine, integrative medicine, functional medicine, all of the organ systems work together. So if the liver is damaged or weakened, because you don't necessarily have to have a damaged, sick liver for it to not be functioning correctly. See, that's what the people don't
That's a
understand.
big distinction.
That's a big distinction.
Yes, I'm going to say that. So you have to understand that it's not cut and dry. It's not just black and white. Not you have a disease or you don't have a disease. There's this big gray area where the body is showing signs and symptoms and the person doesn't feel well before they get to the disease. And we don't want them to get to the disease. So we test them, we ascertain, and then we turn them around based on those signs and symptoms again, because the signs and symptoms will lead eventually to a disease and a breakdown. And sometimes people are there, we help them too, but it is easier to deal with somebody who's having the signs and symptoms to turn them around, if that makes sense.
Right. So going back to one of our courses, it's the Ancient Detox program. Teaching people the value and what the liver does, how it functions. It has over 500 jobs. The kidneys, yes. The way the Lord made us is amazing.
Amazing.
Only God could have thought of this. I'm not smart enough to think about all of that, to make it up. I only study it. That's why I say I'm just a follower of Jesus Christ. I do what he says, right? The kidneys, the colon, they all three work together, and they all three must be detoxified to start you on a program on the journey to wellness.
Right. That's the ancient detox.
That's the ancient detox. And then we have, what's the other?
Digestion correction.
The digestion correction workshop. Our digestion correction workshop is a 5-day workshop, which we have on our website. It's a 5-day workshop where we're breaking down why the body gets sick. We talk about one of the things that I mentioned already, parasitic infestation, all different types of parasites. And this is we have graphics too. So people, we have hundreds of people come to our webinar, and you see their faces. They're like, oh my God, that lives in me. I'm like, that does live in us. And our medical doctors cannot identify it. There is not a test that identifies it that they give us.
Right.
We give the test. The foods,
Yeah.
I'm Latina, right? So in Puerto Rico, they eat a lot of roasted pigs. When I broke down the roasted pig, all the Latinos in there were like, okay, girl, you messed us up. You messed us up. We can no longer eat that, right? We talk about acid alkaline. The balance between acid alkaline and how it could damage your body. We talk about things like bacteria and viruses and fungi that live in your body unbeknownst to people. And then people are just not feeling well. And they think that the answer is going to Whole Foods and just getting something that the Whole Food attendant recommends without knowing, without testing what is really going on within you, within your cellular level. We have an internal terrain that must be taken care of. Just like a plant. You ever seen a plant that's wilted, right? And it's like really sad.
Yes.
And then you go to Home Depot and they give you these minerals for the plant, and the plant just comes back to life.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with us. We have an internal terrain. And if we're missing the minerals, the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, that we test for all of that. We cannot guess. We can't guess by just looking at you, B. Wendy.
Yeah.
Need
No,
the
that's
testing.
Yeah.
So that's one of the courses another course that we have.
Yeah. And I was going to say something about also too, we have to be able to repair the body to be able to accept these nutrients too. So it's not just about taking them, but understanding where the breakdown is, how to repair the digestive system, right? How to repair the liver, how to repair the kidneys. So those are things we teach people, and we put them on the right herbal medicines to do that, because herbal medicines can help to assist the body in healing. And the way God made it's amazing. Because herbs can be targeted towards different tissues. In other words, you can have herbs that work for your kidneys, you can have herbs that work for your liver, herbs that work for your colon, and understanding them, it's a science. Understanding them, how to use them correctly is what we've studied and continue to study till this day, and that's how we give people individualized programs.
I want to say this about herbs and natural medicine. Herbs are to be respected.
Yes.
Because an herb can harm you just like a medication drug can harm you.
Very true. You got to know what you're doing. Yes.
You have to know what you're doing. So when people call us and say, I looked it up on Google, or I went to Whole Foods to just, okay, so Google is your doctor now.
Right.
Is Google able to read your urine analysis and see what parasites you have that is breaking down your body? We had a case, this was years ago, a professional, an executive professional came to our clinic, and she had elephantitis on her legs. You know, those big swollen, look like tree trunks.
Rough skin,
on her legs. Had gone to every medical doctor possible to see if they can reverse that. She came to us. She brought us all the blood work from her medical doctors. We looked at the blood work. Do you remember that? And we're like, you have parasites. We put her on a parasite cleanse for a few months, because it took months. Few months later, the lady had the most gorgeous legs you have ever seen. It all reversed because it was the parasitic infestation that was in her body causing havoc.
Yeah.
That's good.
These are just examples.
Tell us, why is it important for people to learn about the impact of inflammation in our bodies?
Yeah, so inflammation is a process that goes on that's very important. It's crucial. And actually talk about this in our 5-day workshop, right? But to give you
That's
a
right.
summary of it, inflammation is a natural process we need, right? If you step on a nail, you want inflammation to come in the area so it wards off the area so the bacteria can't get into your system. So we need a little bit of inflammation. Chronic inflammation is the problem. Chronic inflammation happens when the body is under stress or duress. So in other words, when a person's eating too much of the wrong foods, they have a lot of toxins in the body, that causes the immune system to start talking to each other. The cells of the immune system will talk to each other. And as they're talking, they're communicating and they can get in the way. And I'll use this analogy. It's kind of like you have a car accident, right? Somebody has a car accident, the car's on the highway and it's damaged, and people are running over to help, which is a good thing, right? You go over to help. And but in a few minutes, you got 40 people around the accident when they're trying to help. But now the rescue squad comes and they can't get to the people who are injured because everybody's in the way. That's what inflammation is. There's too many people around in the way to allow the right cells, the right tissues, the right substance to heal that person. So that's the inflammation. And that goes on everywhere. So it leads to everything from pain, it leads to poor sleep. Inflammation is linked to diabetes, high blood pressure. It's in that area. It's a symptom that the body is not balanced. So we want to get rid of inflammation the right way, and there are some natural things that we can use to do that.
That's right. And which leads to which leads to our master class that we have
Yes.
every month. We have a master class. The master class in November is going to be November 14th. And it's called Fix Your Insulin Resistance. We have discovered that insulin resistance, first of all, people don't even know that they have insulin resistance. People think that it's only for diabetics, and that is wrong.
That's incorrect.
That is so incorrect. And it has become the silent killer. People are literally dying with insulin resistance because well, once you come to our course, you'll understand what that is. But the signs and symptoms of insulin resistance are similar to what you just mentioned. Could be high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, mental fatigue, pain,
low energy, weight gain is a big one,
inflammation.
Yes.
So that's what we talk about in our masterclass that we hold once a month for an hour. November 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Zoom. And I will send you the information for our November class.
And I just want to say one more thing about insulin resistance. 98 million people living in America have insulin resistance, and most of them have no idea.
Wow.
And if it's not reversed, it will lead to all these things we're talking about today. So it's a really big part of why we get sick.
Yes, yes.
Wow, that's huge. I know you just gave an example of a testimonial of a patient whose health, specifically her feet, the issue in her feet, the inflammation, the parasite in her feet was able to be restored. Is there another? I'm sure you have many. Share another.
Just got one.
Yeah.
Yes. This lady just wrote us a whole letter that we just got one.
I've received a testimonial here. It says, "Hi, Dr. Chadwick. Wanted to update you on my lab results and recent MRI scans. I underwent an MRI of the pituitary and MRI of my adrenals. Both came back normal. She was having issues with those. She had growths on them. That's normal, right?
No more growths.
I also had a transvaginal ultrasound that came back clean without evidence of dermoid cysts. She had cysts in her private parts, okay? I also recently performed it's called a dexamethasone suppression blood test. So it sees what's going on with your cortisol levels and your cortisol. And that led to see how my cortisol levels would respond since they were found to be so elevated. But the endocrinologist, the blood work was excellent and exactly what he was hoping for. I have been off birth control for almost 2 months now and taking metformin only 1 time a day. And she has another medicine she's taking a little bit of. And I have attached pictures of my most recent lab tests. So that's where we are with her.
That's awesome.
It's been a great process with her. She's very, very, I'm going to say this, it's very important. She's a very diligent patient. When I tell her to do something, she follows it. And I've been working with her for about almost 9 months now. But she is, you can see by the testimony, she's doing phenomenal. And that's an important part of really first of all, you have to know that you can be healed. And second of
name of
all, you
Jesus.
have to follow the instructions. As I'm not asking anybody to be perfect, but follow the instructions. So if you're listening out there and you have some of these issues, you gotta know that God wants to heal you. And you got to know that we want to heal you.
That you can
and
be
that you
healed.
can be healed.
Mhm.
So these are the first steps, and then having that mindset of going through the program. So
That's good.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
lady came in with cysts
yeah,
in her pituitary gland and in her private part.
yeah.
Wow.
Like, well,
Wow.
to God be the glory. We will give it our best try.
Absolutely. So
Look at
on average, how long may you have a patient working with you?
It depends on what the person comes in with.
Yeah.
So
That
right
makes sense.
now, our program, which it's a 90-day program.
Mhm.
It's called Fix Your Insulin Resistance
Yes.
in 90 days. We have seen people reverse their blood work in 90 days.
Yeah.
With the herbal medicines we put them on, we change their eating habits. Let food be thy medicine, right? And medicine be thy food. So we change their eating habits, but it's not just eating any food that you want. It's the food that is appropriate for you according to your blood work.
That's a big thing.
That's a big
Because
thing.
many people go on these kind of diets, this keto diet, and then now it's a carnivore diet. And I hear these guys arguing that all we should eat is meat. And I'm just sorry, they're just so far off. But people fall for it. And I'm going to say one thing about that, if I can, real quickly, that those kind of diets may have a place for a very short window, for a
Yes.
very short time. But if you're listening out there and you're on those very severe diets, you're gonna eventually have to get off of them because it's gonna start to disrupt your body in many other areas. And I don't have enough time to go through that all right now, but I promise you that eating the way that your body, that God designed it, and giving you what your body needs based on your own testing is the best way of going.
But people can call us for a free 15-minute consultation.
Sure.
We do offer that,
Yeah,
Wendy.
sure.
I was going to ask, would that be the first step that a person
Yes.
would take towards
Yes.
restoration?
They can attend our master classes. The reason we do the master classes is that people can gain trust in us and see that we know what we're talking about in 35 years.
Yeah.
Right. Usually people come to the master class or they book a free 15-minute consultation with us. May I give you the number?
Absolutely.
The number is 786-577-9580. The name of our company is called Your Nutrition Physicians. Your Nutrition Physicians, and you can find us on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook. On Facebook, we actually have our personal names. It's Aaron Wanda, like one word, Aaron Wanda Chadwick. Aaron Wanda Chadwick on Facebook. We're on Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, even Your Nutrition Physicians. And I'll repeat the number again for those that are listening. It's 786-577-9580. We will welcome a free 15-minute call from you, a call from you, and we will offer a free 15-minute consultation.
I love it. This would easily be a full 3-day workshop. Like, y'all have a lot of information.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Is there any, as we're wrapping up, is there any final thing that I didn't ask you that you feel led to share today? Maybe an encouragement for somebody who's really going through some physical, like some hard stuff, like physical ailments. Maybe they've been through some trauma, maybe they're grieving, but they've been told so many things. They're going to multiple doctors and they're at the point of giving up. And also their finances are hurting. It takes a lot to invest in your health. And when your insurance doesn't pay for anything anymore, you are in a bad place. And so what word of encouragement, what might you say to somebody who's listening?
Well, I think that people who are listening out there, that there is hope. There is hope.
Never give up.
Never give up. Because there are reasons behind your issues that you're having. But, unfortunately, most physicians look at the outside here. We're going to go deep inside, look at the right testing. We're going to figure out what it is and then support your body. And again, because we've been doing it for such a long time, we have that experience to deal with many factors. I mean, I could tell you story after story, testimony after testimony of people come seeing us who have been benefited from that. So, it's just a matter of, calling us and see if we can help you. But we help a lot of people with their health issues. So there is hope.
Yes, I was going to say there is hope. Never give up. The Lord will never leave you nor forsake you.
That's right.
Just like the woman with the 12 years of bleeding, the issue of blood, she finally found an answer.
Excellent point.
She finally, and we only operate through the blood of Jesus. We only operate through the wisdom of Jesus Christ. So there is hope. And if you don't have money, we've had people that come to us and don't have an income. I mean, but you have to do what you have to do to stay alive. You know what, Wendy, we found that people have 5 television sets in their house, but yet they don't have the money to pay us for blood work, because blood work costs us money. We only use high quality herbal medicines that costs money. So I say to people, look and see what's important.
Yeah.
What's more important? Is having 5 television sets more important, or staying alive and well for you to stay with your family, to glorify the Lord, to do your, sometimes people have a mantle on their lives. They have a calling in their lives, but since they're not taking care of their physical body, they're not their body temple, they're not able to accomplish and finish their assignment. I say, spend what you have, do what you have to do, sell what you have to sell, to make sure that you are here to accomplish the work that you have been assigned.
And God will honor that too.
And the Lord will honor that.
Well, wow. Fire is coming. Smoke is coming out of the Zoom right now. I really enjoyed hosting y'all. There's so much that if we had the time, I cannot wait to attend the workshop. It's going to be a long day for me, but I cannot wait to attend the workshop. Of course, by the time the viewers, the listeners hear this, this will air November 4th, but I will be today is September 17th, and I will be attending the September 19th masterclass. Thank you so much for what you do, for your obedience. For your obedience to this ministry. It's really good. I know we don't have the time, but it's so good to just see husband and wife working alongside each other and on this ministry as well. And thank you for what you do for sure. So awesome. Well, this is Wendy Jackson with Empower to Empower You podcast. I know that this podcast episode will be a gift to you. Listen, maybe you know somebody that is dealing with health stuff, health issues, pain in their bodies. You may not know on the inside what they're dealing with. Share this episode with somebody. Refer them to Dr. Aaron and Wanda. Share their social media. I'll put all of that in the show notes. The consultation number, a free consultation for 15 minutes, 786-577-9580. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Aaron and Wanda. And I will talk to y'all soon. And again, I'll be back next week with another inspiring, empowering message. Have a great week on purpose.
God bless you.